that camera, right? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ysn Primetime Live. DJ Oakley here. Donnie Riccatelli there. I'll get it right.
Okay.
Paul Munson on the way in. And also Mike Ackelson will join us live via satellite. I've always wanted to say that. From I don't know where he's going to be beaming in from, but I know he's going to be here shortly. Donnie, to lead off the show here, we are at James A. Garfield High School here in Garrettsville, home of the G-Men. And they love us out here. They love having us out here, and it's awesome to be here. Talk to me. I mean, you just rolled in, and you feel like you're comfortable. You're home.
Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. This is old school. I mean, last week we're at Cheney, Grassfield behind us. This week we're at Garfield, Grassfield behind us. I mean, it just smells like football.
It does, and we'll play on turf tomorrow. That'll be at Mollenkoff playing JFK, the G-Men versus the Flying Eagles of Warren JFK. That's going to be an interesting game. We'll have plenty to talk about here tonight on the show on Primetime Live. We'll have Coach Mosher come in, and we got 5 guys, 5 G-men that want to sit down and talk to us. So we'll have all of that and more. But the news of the day, Austintown Fitch, and their game's canceled. Glen Oak gets a COVID case done. When is this going to come to an end, or is this just something we have to get used to?
I guess it's something we're gonna have to get used to. I mean, we're gonna have to live with it for a little bit until some of the rules change a little. I noticed last year during some of the events later on in the spring and whatnot, as kids were coming down with COVID, they had a little bit of a different protocol in place. So maybe sometimes it might just be a coach or a player that's isolated. Maybe that's the case where they move them aside and then the game gets played as is. But I don't know. It's unfortunate because you're Fitch. You were very prepared for Glen Oak, and now you're told, hey, we got to pause this week. And I guess it's a week for Fitch to be able to get healthy. But if you're a true football player, you're a true Fitch Falcon, you want to play Friday night. So.
And one of the things that we might talk about a little bit later when we're talking about the East Palestine Camel game is Coach King. He separated himself from the team this week. So you have Camel that's coaching without their head coach, right, and playing without their head coach. But he did it because there was a contact trace that he was connected. So he's taking one, quote unquote, for the team,
and he's being unselfish. I mean, trust me, I'm sure he'd rather be on the sidelines, but I think he would rather his kids be out on the field than sit at home with everybody else. So,
and I think we have Mike Ackelson on the line, and coming in via satellite. Mikey Ackelson will get the 3-shot here, and we'll add him. Let me know when he's popped in. There he is.
Hello, fellas.
What's going on, big fella?
Attack. Getting ready for another big week of high school football, man. I can't wait to see you guys on the Audible Call tomorrow.
I was just going to ask you, I mean, Audible Call flawless last week, 88 touchdowns, Mikey. What are you expecting in week 3?
I expect big things. I don't want to see any more games canceled because of COVID. I think, that just puts a big setback into everybody's plan.
I think we lost Mike there.
And everything, and now all of a sudden you're sitting week, so don't like that one at all. But there's some big games out there tomorrow. I just can't wait for you guys to listen to the call and your touchdown calls.
Is there any one game in particular? Obviously, the Fitch game was one that we were going to have our eye on. That one's down. Is there one game in particular, Mike, that you've got your eye on?
I actually like them all because they all unfold differently. There will be some blowouts. I like the games that go down to the wire, the ones that we got to keep switching back to because you just never know what's going to happen. I like games with a lot of points, offense, whether it's a long drive, methodical drive, or the quick strip. It's those games where the defense forces that turnover where both teams have just, run at each other the whole game. So you look forward to just everything you can see.
So tomorrow night, you're going to have Steve in the studio with you, as well as the Mikeettes, as we like to call them. Anything that you wanted to say to promote the show tomorrow, Michael?
Absolutely. You got to tune in, 6:55. Steve, Leslie, and I, we will be ready to go. We're going to miss our guy in the hot seat. Apparently, he's got a game or something Friday night, but we did try to get Brian Seidel to move everything to Saturdays for us, but on Sunday, he should pick Saturdays. So, but we're ready to rock and roll. Steve is perfect to work with. Everything just flows between us two perfectly. He zigs, I zag. It's perfect. We run great plays together, and we're just looking forward to hearing a lot of Omahas out of everybody.
Mike, we appreciate you. We will talk to you tomorrow night on the Audible Call right here on YSN. Thanks, brother.
You got it. I'll see you tomorrow night, folks.
There he is, Mike Ackelson, the host of the Audible Call, brought to you by WRS Wealth Advisors. To me, still one of the best things we've ever created. This, a close second. I love Primetime Live. You talked about it, the interaction on this show, especially last week.
Yeah.
That's something people are still talking about last week.
Absolutely. And honestly, just being on location, normally we would see the players behind us, but they actually were able to finish practice a little bit early, so they'll come out a little bit from now. But just to see the kids moving around, seeing what goes on in game prep, and then just talking about the other games amongst us instead of being on a Zoom call or anything, or just in studio by ourselves. I mean, this is the real deal, and it's if not better than college game day. I mean, I would say it's close second. So
it's like having high school game day.
Yeah,
and we just don't want to steal the name, so we go prime time. We'll take it from Deion Sanders.
Else.
We have Paul Munson join us. A little bit of a backup on the freeway, my friend.
Yeah, I had to really pay attention. My buddy Jeff comes out here every day for work, and he was like, "Make sure you stay in the right lane." He's like, when the road splits, if you stay to your left, he goes, "You've got to go to the next exit."
I got burnt
to get off.
15 miles past.
Yeah, and he's like, "Stay to the right no matter what." So I was like, "Okay, great." And when I pulled in, I was talking to him, and he's like, "You're there already?" He goes, "What time do you leave your house?" I'm like, 4:25. He goes, "And you made it there by 5:00?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." So I may have broken a couple speeding laws to get here, but I'm here. It's good.
Whatever it takes, right?
That's right.
It's Primetime Live. Mike Mosier, the head coach of the Garrettsville Garfield G-Men, will join us here in just a little bit. But until then, let's talk some football, gentlemen. Obviously, Fitch out this week with Glen Oak. We talked about that. Let's talk about another game that just breaking news today. We will not have for you the Boardman versus Massillon Jackson game. It is being streamed by Massillon Jackson. So you'll have the option to buy that game. I think it's $8 or something around that. We will have the link on our website, on the Boardman page, the Boardman channel on ysnlive.com. But a game that we will not have. A little bit frustrating, but from our standpoint, we'll still be able to pull it up for Mikey in the Audible Call. We'll still be able to have some of the highlights. But from your side, you can't call it, and that's a little bit of a bummer.
It's extremely disappointing, to say the least. I mean, I was looking forward to Don Mascola coming back after a week absence and really diving into pretty much a 2-0 Boardman team that definitely this is going to be their toughest opponent to date in a 2-0 Jackson team. But the fact that we can't go up there and call it, I mean, it's unfortunate because a lot of people have tuned in to watch the Boardman games, and I've gotten such great feedback for what YSN's been able to do for the school and for the community. So it is a bummer, but I can assure you the following week we're going to be back better than ever. So we'll be okay.
So what does Spartan Nation have to expect for tomorrow night's game?
Expect a very, very solid Jackson team. Their quarterback is unbelievable. He's a tall, lengthy guy, transferred over from St. Thomas Aquinas, moved in from North Carolina. He's the real deal. They're very well coached, very disciplined team. It's going to be tough for Boardman to come out with a victory on the road. If any team can do it, they can, and hopefully they they're as laser focused as they've been the last 2 weeks. So.
All right, let's move to our next game. Paul, let's talk about this one. Beaver Local at Minerva. This is an interesting one. Mikey McKenzie is going to be on the call. Beaver Local looking to, I always say this, find their sea legs. How do you feel that the Beavers are going to stack up this week against Minerva?
I think, they got a big game coming up next week, so you're hoping they're not overlooking this week's game because next week they get their big rival game in East Liverpool. But I think they're going to get their bearings this week. I think they're going to finally kind of figure out what they need to do. They've had a couple weeks now to get things under control and okay, listen, we need this is a win. We need to get this win and get that momentum going. Because if you lose this week, yeah, you got to get amped up for your rival, but coming off a loss, that's tough to do. It's still a big game, but you're just sitting there going, man, what do we need to do? But if you get a win tomorrow, and now you've got that momentum coming your way, and now you build on that, Coach McKenzie is going to get those guys fired up and say, guys, listen, this is it. We're going to have a great game. They get this win against Malvern. Then they come back home and say, okay, listen, let's get ready for our rival and do that. And I think they're going to do that. Hey, check our picks tomorrow, but no surprise. I'm going to take the Beavers tomorrow. So,
all right, next game, Brookfield at Western Reserve. Both teams, Brookfield 1-1 on the year, almost got Springfield last week. Yeah. Western Reserve, again, a team looking for answers at this point in the season early on. How do you feel about this game? For me, Brookfield, Coach Clark looking for win number 100. And I think this is the one that he's going to get it. He was so close to that signature win over a state-ranked team. And I think that, quite honestly, I think Brookfield's pissed.
He wanted it.
Yeah, I think they're pissed because I think they feel they let the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
And he was talking, I was talking to a couple of our announcers that do the Brookfield games, and they've been talking to him throughout the week last week, and he was fired up. He came on his interview with Anthony and Ty on Running Point, and he was a little fired up, and he was like, listen, I watched the show. I watched you guys pick teams. You didn't pick us. And he was mad. And he's like, and he's like, we're going for win 100 for me at home. And he goes, I want this win. And he was right there. He was 4 minutes away from a win. And 100 at home would have been a good thing for them. And it, like you said, it just slipped through their fingers. Springfield kind of made the adjustments they needed to which is the caliber team that they are. Coach Guerrero is going to have those guys make those adjustments. All right, let's get going. Him and Coach Brungard said, hey, we might be in a hole. 4 minutes, plenty of time. We got Bo. Let's go. And they did it. And I think that's a bad taste in Brookfield's mouth. And I think those kids were sitting there going, shit, we let one slip away for Coach. We can't do that this week.
Yeah, as much as Coach wanted that 100th win, those kids wanted that for him even more. And Western Reserve, they were down 30-0 before they could answer against Kennedy. They're searching for as long as they can now to find anything that's going to work for them. Brookfield is definitely going to pull this one off and get win 100 for the Warriors.
It's a shame it's on the road, but hey, you get that win no matter where you can get it.
100 is 100, right?
They can't take it away from you.
Right.
Tri-C versus South Range at the Raider Dome. Paul, need we say more? This is everything it's cracked up to be in this game. Yeah,
both of us are going to get to be there, calling it in different aspects. I'll be the PA announcer. You're going to be calling it for YSN. This is a game that, they had a couple games circled on the schedule. Obviously, you're week 1 against Springfield. That's your rival. You're going into their town. Last time when they had them at home, they had a chance to beat them. They didn't do it the year 2 years ago. Now you get Tri-C that's coming into town. And Canton Central Catholic is the thorn in the side of South Range athletics. Yeah. Whether it's
coming from the baseball coach.
Yeah. Whether it's basketball, whether it's baseball, which I've experienced at least 2 or 3 times now here in the last couple of years. We lose to them in the regional championship last year. 2 years ago, we lose to them in the district championship. So this is a team and a school that they want to beat. And you don't know what you're getting right now out of this Canton Central team, because week 1, they came out and they beat Perry. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's a great win for them. Last week, they get handled by Norwayne. And Norwayne was beat up in the week before by who was it? It was Hubbard. So Hubbard. So now you're sitting there going, well, is Hubbard as good as advertised, which we all know they are? And how is this Tri-C team? Well, you're coming into their house, and I think the Raiders, I know the Raiders are going to take care of business, but it's a game that they're going to be amped up to play, because right after this, for everybody else, you're going into league play. And for them, being one of the smaller schools in the league doesn't mean anything. They don't care. And they're going to go out there and they got to beat this team right here who's in front of him with his Tri-C. And Coach Igley is going to have those guys ready to go. And it's going to be interesting to see because I want to see how Dominguez bounces back. Because last week, University did their business, and they said, we're not going to let Dominguez beat us. And, he had less than 100 yards. He didn't run very much. And Billy Skirpak tore him up throwing the ball around. So now you want to get one of your best players the ball some more. So I want to see how they're going to handle that and get Dominguez the ball some more this week and see him just turn it up.
The Raiders scored in 10 seconds to open up the game last time. I wonder if they can do it any faster than that. We'll find out tomorrow night. All right, Donnie, this is a game. There is a lot of things going on around it. It's Mooney, it's Chaney, so much happening on both sides. Everybody rallying around somebody
Right.
or something. How do these kids even focus on this game tomorrow night?
You just have to shut out that outsized noise. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's tough if you're either team to really focus on the game on front football. But for Chaney, you're rallying in a different reason, obviously, than Cardinal Mooney is right now. And Chaney just has the athletes. I can't see Cardinal Mooney beating Chaney this time. I actually think that Chaney's gonna come around and get him. It's not going to be a blowout. It's not going to be any flash or dash because Mooney will control the tempo.
I like that.
The flash or dash. Mooney will definitely control the tempo on the ground. I mean, they're again, I've said it for weeks now. They're very predictable. They've been predictable for years. They just don't have the athletes to stay predictable like they've been before. So again, you gotta shut out that outside noise and do your best as soon as the lights come on and that ball goes up in the air. But I look for Chaney to get win number 1 on the season for them.
All right, Paul, we moved to Cleveland JFK at Canfield. A Canfield team coming off what I thought was a game winner. Everybody's got a different kind of recollection of that game. What does Canfield have to do to be effective and come away with a win over Cleveland JFK?
I think they just need to do what they've been doing. I mean, they went out week 1 and beat a rival at Poland, and they took care of business. And for all intents and purposes, they kind of did what they needed to do last week. The Dover team, I don't want to say they snuck up on them. The Dover team was a good team, and they were there to play some football. And it came right down to the end. Canfield had a chance. We all thought the football was in, his foot was in. And, Quinn was able to talk to Coach Pavlansky, and Coach Pav was honest about it. He goes, he was out. He stepped out. He was out by about a foot. He goes in, and that's football. That's what happens. And now they're going to come back. They're at home again, and I think they're going to take care of business. They're just going to turn it up. Cleveland JFK is going to make that long drive down here to the Mahoning Valley and find out what Mahoning Valley football is all about.
A trio of games that I'm interested in. Number 1 being Crestview at United, an old TCL rivalry back at it as Crestview now part of the MVAC, United still the EOAC. These two teams getting together to battle it out. Donnie, this is going to be an old-fashioned slobber knocker, as Jim Ross would say.
Yeah.
I mean, United trying to figure things out. Crestview seemingly found their offense last week.
They definitely found their offense last week. Going up to United, I honestly think this is going to be a very, very close game. It's going to be one of those games where you think it's going to happen probably in the fourth quarter. I think Crestview actually pulls away from United, which if this game happened last year, I'm saying United all day with DJ Ogilvy and his squad. So I really look forward to watching Crestview grow actually this year. I think they're really starting to hit their stride.
Paulie, East versus Niles, that game being played at Bo Ryan Stadium. Talk to me about the expectations for these two teams going in.
The East team, they're still, getting their legs. And I say that from they're still building that program back again to where they want to have it, to where it used to be. Niles, losing a handful of athletes, they got to build their thing back up too. They're not, they're rebuilding. Not really. No, I think they're just reloading. They're trying to get the athletes to come back there and fill in the spots that they need to fill in. This being at Niles, I mean, I like Niles in this one. I think, East they still got some hurdles to get past. They still got to get some of their athletes up and running and getting there. But I'm telling you, they're a team, them and Chaney. I mean, Chaney's been able to bounce back a little faster than East, but East is still that team that there's a lot of pride there. And there's a lot of kids who want to play for that program, and they're going to be ready to go. So it's not going to be a walkthrough, but Niles, I think, is going to end up pulling that one out, and I think they're going to do pretty good. And they're being at home, their stadium there, ready to go. Bo Ryan Stadium's going to be fun.
Last one before the break I want to talk about real quick. East Palestine at Camel Memorial. This is Tony Foster. Yes, East Palestine's Tony Foster. This is his favorite stadium to play in. We talked about it earlier, Donnie. Coach King not going to be there. So this is, I don't want to say it's a cavalry without the captain, but it's a situation where your head coach is not going to be on the sidelines due to COVID restrictions. He took himself out to save the season for this team. So, or at least the week for this team. So you look at this, a hungry East Palestine team finally putting points on the board last week. They go up. Did they figure something out, or is it a situation where Camel is going to rally around their coach and say, "Hey, we're going to win one for the Gipper"?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, this is as toss up gets. I mean, both teams struggling, obviously, but it's unfortunate the coach isn't going to be there to actually see possibly their first win of the season. So if you're East Palestine, you gotta grind it out. Like you said, they got some points on the board last week, and maybe they figured something out. And lately, a lot of people have been picking on East Palestine and Camel Memorial. So one of them has to end up being the winner, right? So,
in the words, what is it, 2006, Paul? Leave Brittany alone.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the head ball coach of the G-Men, Mike Mosier, is going to join us. Some of the G-Men as well. Stick right here on YSN Primetime Live. Don't go anywhere.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers, and we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, when natural disasters happen, we are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers, and we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, when natural disasters happen, we are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to YSN Primetime Live. We are joined by the head ball coach of the G-Men here in Garfield, Mike Mosier. Coach, your 9th year here. You're 2-0 on this season. What has you guys motivated going into the 2021 season?
Look, we have big goals every year. We set those same goals, competing for league titles and trying to make the playoffs and just keep building the program. And it's been a pretty motivated group all through. So we're excited to play again.
So this is a team you're very familiar with in JFK, starting to become a little bit of a rivalry year after year. You got them last year. It's another team, but what they're made of. They're very strong up front, as you and I talked about before. What are the keys to the game for you? Yeah,
well, like you said it up front. JFK is a well-coached team, a physical team. They get off the ball, move people around in there. We're gonna have to match their level of physicality up front. And then, it's the same thing in all big games, turnovers, penalties, those types of things. But we'll have to come out of the gates and match their physicality, first of all.
So, Garfield, a new part of the family here at YSN. We're ecstatic to have you guys. But let's play get to know Garfield a little bit. When people watch G-Men football, what are they looking for? What should they expect?
Well, expect our kids to compete, to play team football, a lot of different guys touching the ball. Fast on defense, and we fly around, and we'll look a little different than a lot of teams, what you see with the way we run the ball, and with some skilled linemen in our pooling schemes and things like that. But just good hard-nosed football, really.
I mean, when you look at your strengths of this football team, What are your expectations, and who's going to have the football in their hands at the end of the day?
Well, a little bit of everybody. When things are going great for us, it's everybody touching the football. But, Anthony Dema, Ryan Staller, Brody Spagonski, Jesse Grace, those guys are our main guys. Joe Perrine, guys like that are, and any one of them, we feel confident in any one of those guys being able to make big plays for us.
Coach Donnie Riccatelli, nice to meet you. You talk about your 9th season being here. In the world of the TikToks and the Instagrams and the Snapchats of the world, what's it take to keep these kids focused and as disciplined as they are in your program?
Well, it's getting harder every year, I can tell you that. We're blessed here, with, I think, a lot of the kids that we have, with kids that aren't looking for the individual, the individual things, and they just want the team success. The focus is tough because it's a tough schedule, and every week it's a game, it's a big game, and then it's a bigger one the next week. And we really, just try to go one at a time.
Yeah.
Try to worry about the one that's in front of you. This is a big week 3 game, no doubt about it. But we got to turn around and play another big game the next week.
Yeah.
So any way you look at it, we got to be ready to go.
Absolutely.
Coach, you talk about your tough schedule, and it's preparing you for the playoffs. Being in Division 5, Region 17, there's some big dogs out there in that. How does your schedule get you guys ready for that? And how you look at your schedule and say, listen, our non-league games are going to be hugely important in getting us ready to go, because you've got your Kirtlands, your Garraway, you've got your South Range, you've got some big, like I said, some big dogs out there that you're going to see at some point during the playoffs.
Yeah. Region 17 is no picnic, I can tell you. Yeah, you're right. I think you play big games. You play them every week, and you see a lot of different types of football. You see that physical nature every week, and you hope that the more you see that, by the time, if you're fortunate enough to still be playing on weeks 11 and 12, that you've matched their people's level of physicality all the way through, and nothing should be new to you. But this group's been to the playoffs the last 2 years. Everything ratchets it up a little bit more once you get into those playoffs anyway. So but it certainly doesn't hurt us to play these schools. Now,
speaking of the playoffs, last year everybody got in, so it was kind of across the board, everybody was okay. Now they expanded it this year to 16. We can talk to a coach firsthand. How do you feel about this expanding to 16 teams now? In your opinion, does it water it down a little bit because you've doubled what it used to be at 8?
No, I get you. I've been here, overall as an assistant and a head coach since 2001. And I remember when we first came here, there had been one playoff appearance in the school's history.
Wow.
Coming, and you took great pride in just making the playoffs. When it went to 8, and then I see people's points both ways. Some of the regions may feel like it gets a little watered down. In Division 5, Region 17, you can make an argument for 12 and 16 teams.
Yeah.
So look, it's still going to be one of our goals. Every year, defend your home field, compete for the league title, and try to still be playing come week 11. I suppose some old school guys will say maybe it waters it down a little bit, but we're going to still take a lot of pride in that.
Absolutely.
Coach, every team has their story. You've been here 20 years as an assistant, as now as a head coach. What's this team's story of 2021?
Boy, that's a good one. Change, right? A lot of these guys played, from the time they were young. A lot of them were playing. Some of these guys you'll talk to in a little bit, were playing as freshmen, and all of them were playing as sophomores, and they've been through a lot, as all these teams have across the United States, really. But the COVID year and the last minute scheduling that we had to go through last year, and it's just been a group that's just been able to pick it up and go no matter what it is. We got to go on the road, you got to play a team you haven't met before or seen before. They've just been real good at just picking it up and going with it. So I guess that kind of be their, that's the legacy they're going to leave. Hopefully that they've taken this program to the next level and left it for those better than it was when they got here.
Every team around this area seems to have a rallying point, whether it's a student or a parent or something. Does this team have a rallying point or something that they look at and say, hey, we're going to go play for him or her or this?
No, I think for us, I think we're playing for each other. I think everybody's playing for each other, and I think that's what makes us tough to beat, really.
I love that. Donnie, anything left?
Yeah, you want to talk about the makeup of your team. Obviously, with Garfield being new to the Ysn family, what does that look like as far as your seniors, your juniors? Like, who are these kids looking up to on the field when it's go time, when it's crunch time?
As far as on our team,
Yes.
Again, people like, Anthony Dumman, Brody Swagonski, and Ryan Stoller, and Joe Perrine, and these guys have all been out there and played a lot of big games. They've been in the playoffs twice. They've played some bigger schools. They've done all this kind of stuff. They've won. We've hosted playoff games. We've, won playoff games. So I think they kind of just build off of each other there.
Yeah.
Paul, anything left? No.
Hey, we're glad to have you guys as part of our one of our teams here in the family of network, and good luck to you guys. It's gonna be great to see, man.
Yep, we're excited. Coach Mosier going to join us here. Well, has joined us. We'll be joined by more G-men on the way right after this on YSN Primetime Live.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
If you're looking for a new Ford vehicle, why shop anywhere else but Tri-State Ford? Choose from our great selection of new Ford models. Plus, we've got you covered with our exclusive Tri-State Ford Advantage. It includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty with your new Ford. Come see why so many customers from the Tri-State area buy their new Ford at Tri-State Ford.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to YSN Primetime Live. DJ Yoakley with you. Donnie Riccatelli on the other side of the table from YSN. And we have three of the G-men that are going to be taking on Warren JFK tomorrow. Introduce yourself, guys.
I'm Anthony Dumma.
Brody Swagonski. I'm Ryan Stoller.
So there you go. Three running backs for the G-men, guys that are going to be dangerous this year. 2-0 to start the season. Talk to me first about what the season's been like. Obviously, last year, crazy, right? This year, a little bit back to normalcy, but not really. Have you guys been able to kind of maintain? Has that change become normal for you?
Yeah, it's a little different. This season came much faster than it has in the past few years. So it was the camp was really short, like 2 weeks. So we had to get up and get ready very fast. So it's good, though. It's good to play football, though, so it doesn't matter.
Brody?
Yeah, it has been different, but I mean, we've all been here. This is our fourth year, so like we were used to it before. So I mean, it's kind of like we've done it before. So
all right,
we'll be ready.
The nicest beard at this table. Sorry, Donnie.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, the guys have already really kind of said it. It came a little bit quicker, but we were ready for it.
So is this a three-headed monster right here? Is that what we're going with? I mean, you guys all carry the rock a little bit. I mean, are there challenges? Are there I don't know. Do you guys kind of push each other? How does that work?
Oh, I think we definitely do.
Yeah. We've grown up together. Like, we've been friends since kindergarten. We're all in the same class. So it doesn't really matter who gets the ball or, like, we all block for each other. We're all happy for each other. So, like, it doesn't matter who gets the ball. But there's always some competition, like who gets more yards and who scores more. But we don't really care.
Is there a sweet nickname that we can start calling you guys in the backfield? I mean, three-headed monster is great, but I feel like it's overused.
Yeah.
We got Thunder, Lightning, and Thor. I don't know what are you doing.
Well, he's definitely Thor. He's definitely Lightning. He's fast. I guess I'll take Thunder.
You want Thunder? All right. So Thunder, Lightning, and Thor. I'll take that. But in all seriousness, I mean, like from pushing each other. I mean, you guys have been playing with each other for a long time. What is it that motivates you guys to stay and want to tote the rock and root for the other guy, other than that he's on your team?
I think it's because we've really been friends with each other for so long. Like, we want to see one another do well. Like, if Anthony's running the ball, I know I'm blocking my hardest so that he can get more yards or more touchdowns or really just do better and improve his game. And I know when I'm running the ball, Anthony's doing the same for me.
All right, so question for you. Would you rather score a touchdown or lay an unbelievable block for one of these guys?
Unbelievable block.
What a teammate. What is that face?
Oh, he does not block.
You don't think
he doesn't block?
No. I would rather pancake someone in front.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for you to score. That's what I would want to do.
Yeah.
Is that for show right there? Is that for the cameras?
That's what I was thinking, but he blocks for me a lot, so he pretty much I score every play because of him and Riley and Roman, all these guys.
Do you buy the pancakes when you guys go to IHOP or anything like
we
that?
will at the end of the season, hopefully.
There you go. All right, would you rather score a touchdown or would you rather lay out somebody?
I'm not gonna lie, I'll score a touchdown. I like blocking.
Got to put 6 on the board.
Yeah.
Brody, how about you? Same question.
Probably block.
Block?
Yeah.
These guys are the best blockers on the out of the backs. Definitely, I'm not
Out of the backs. Here, you heard him, guys.
Out of the backs.
Out of
Yeah,
backs.
the lineman's ears perked up. Wait till you see the hair coming out of the line.
I love it.
I mean, we had a Kenny Powers lookalike coming. You'll see it. Just stay tuned. Donnie, you got some?
So, all right, you guys have all grown up since kindergarten with one another. What does it mean to go to Garfield? What does it mean to you guys? What's it mean for the pride, the school pride? I mean, that's lost in a lot of athletes these days, and especially other sports where they can play on club teams and everything else. But football, you can't. What's it mean to be a G-man?
I think it's everything. I mean, we're always going out there for the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. I mean, there's no name on the
Cliche. It's okay.
But I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think it's true though. We all go out there for the same mindset. We all want to win with each other, like for each other, and just it's all about the name on the front.
Yeah, being a G-man is really just being part of one big family. We're all here for each other. We all love each other.
And that started in middle school. I mean, started in elementary school, but middle school, you come here and you watch the games, and you could tell that the culture, like everyone was super excited. All the parents would have us come, and we'd all sit on that hill over there. We'd be super excited for this game. We had a really good, my 7th grade year, we had a really good team that went really far. So everyone would come to the games and we'd be super happy. But like, it's just super exciting to be those guys on the field now, knowing everybody else is looking at you. So you got to carry the load.
I was just going to ask you, I mean, from a role model perspective, you guys had to have your role models when you were sitting on that hill. Now you are the role models. Yeah. What is that like to go from one stage to the next? And what kind of example are you trying to set for the next generation of G-men?
Well, it comes much faster than you think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite sayings that Coach Moser would always say is, my freshman year, he'd tell me this, because all I want to do is I want to play varsity. Like, time is a non-renewable resource. So, like, you just enjoy when you're young. And because when you get here, it's kind of sad that it's your last year. So like, all I want to do is just grow up and be big. Like, when I was young, too, I want to play high school football, but I'm just happy I lived in the moment while I could.
Absolutely.
All right, so you're in the moment. What moment do you want to leave? What legacy do you want to leave for the rest of time so your names are etched in G-Men football history forever? What has to happen this year for you?
First off, we got to get the 10 wins, get the school record, and then from then we'll try to go 16 games and see if we can win them all.
Now, if you're trying to win 10 games, it has to continue tomorrow night against a very tough Warren JFK team.
Yeah.
What are your keys to victory? I mean, don't give away the game plan, but what has to be done from your perspective? And let's go one by one. What do you have to do individually in order to win as a team?
Start down there.
Okay, Brody, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
All right. I mean, you really just have to keep doing your job. Be physical every single play. Treat every play like hard, fast. Don't take any breaks off. Carry out good fakes, and whenever you are running the ball, look for holes, hit the holes, follow your blockers. It's just going to be really at the end of the day, I think it's going to be whoever plays more physical. I think that's who's going to win the game.
I like that.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's gonna be all about the trenches. Like, it's gonna be a dogfight. Because they run the ball a lot, we run the ball a lot. I just think we just got to hit our shots, like Coach Moser always says. Hit our shots when they're there and take it, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be won and lost with our line and their line. They got they got probably all good linemen. We got all good linemen, so that's gonna be the matchup to watch up front. But really, winning the games isn't on Fridays. Really, it's on like the work days during the week. During the week is when you really put in the work. Fridays are the fun part. You get to go out there and have some fun. So
my guy's going to be a motivational speaker.
Yeah, I feel like he's like ready to go, like ready to sign one of those NIL contracts, man.
He's ready to go.
You.
Are you guys looking to play at the next level? Is that something that you've looked into? And if I don't know if you guys have committed or anything because you're brand new. We'll get to that stuff. But I mean, if you have, where are you looking to go?
I'm definitely looking to play football next level, but I'm not sure exactly where yet.
I'm more of a track guy, so I'm
track guy.
Gonna run track in college. Yeah.
Brody,
I don't really know yet. I'm just undecided right now.
What do you guys want to study at the next level? I guess that's the most important question, right?
I'm gonna be a business major.
Yeah,
I want to make a lot of money.
There it is. Counting that money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think your job is pretty important, and you gotta like what you do. So I'm an outdoors kind of guy. So I'm like thinking something outdoorsy, like park manager, like a game warden or something like that.
Just make sure you have at least a business minor. Always want to have something to do with business.
Business is booming, right? Always.
Definitely a business guy myself. Yeah.
I like it. I mean, so okay, I'm going to ask you for the last time in your I guess your high school career. What do you want to do when you grow up? What's your dream?
One thing I think I would love to do is open up like my own sports training facility and be like the owner of my own like all sports training for workouts and all that. I think that would be my
I like
dream.
that. Very cool. Brody, you got anything?
Wow, nothing as cool as that. No, I don't know. Oh, you
Ryan took. We were supposed to do that together, but I guess you can have that.
You guys got 24 hours to get on the same page before you face
Right,
JFK.
right.
So, all right. Final question for you. Role models for you. I mean, outside of here, who do you model your game after? Like when you go on a Friday night, who are you? Because I know, like as a boy, I was always trying to be Ben Roethlisberger. Or what? Who are you trying to be?
Christian McCaffrey.
There it is.
Oh God. Well, if we're going quarterback perspective, probably Patrick Mahomes.
All right, Mahomes.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. I like it. Donnie, who you trying to be?
He's got some
connection right now.
Who am I trying to be now? Whoever eats the best.
That's it.
Which I think it's going to be these guys coming up.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Looking forward to following you all season and doing some player profiles on you and helping you guys get to that next level. So thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thank
Good
you.
luck
Thanks for
tomorrow.
having us. Thank you.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got the big boys and the guys that like Donnie Riccatelli want to eat some. So we'll see what they have up their sleeve when we come back on YSN Primetime Live.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers, and we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, when natural disasters happen, we are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer goes the extra mile to bring you the largest selection of vehicles at one convenient location. With guaranteed credit approval, I will find you the right vehicle and the right financing options for you. I am ready to go the extra mile to show you why no other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to YSN Primetime live from James A. Garfield High School in Garrettsville. And we are joined by the big boys, the guys that move mountains up front. And, well, they moved the way and paved the way for those guys we just had on. The big boys, the O-linemen, and look how sweet they're looking right now. My man is out for some Viper shades. He's got the Kenny Powers going. Introduce yourself, gentlemen.
I'm Austin Roman. Riley Laporte.
And they are the big boys up front. And both seniors, correct?
Yeah.
Both seniors? All right, so let's start it off. Donnie, I know you're dying to ask a question. Why don't you lead this off?
Oh, thank you. I got to know. Favorite places to eat, and please don't say Chick-fil-A. A place to eat.
Chick-fil-A.
Darn it. Just for that.
I have to say Chick-fil-A.
I have to say Cane's.
Cane's. Ooh, battle of the chicken.
Some chicken guys.
All right, so whoever grades out better pays the other guy's way to Chick-fil-A or Cane's?
I usually grade out better.
You grade out better?
Oh,
so.
that's not true.
All right, so I guess where is still up for grabs, but who can eat more when it comes down to it? Brass tacks. Who's eating? He just threw the thumb out. All right, so what's the most you've ever eaten? Like in your life, you sit there and you go, okay. Or here's a better question: what can you eat the most of?
I don't know. Either Chick-fil-A nuggets or some sort of breakfast food. I'm really good at eating breakfast
food
for some reason.
It doesn't fill you up at all.
No, not really.
What's the go-to?
Hash browns, eggs, and bacon.
Not pancakes, or those are just left out on the field?
Yeah, those are all on the field.
Yeah.
All American. All American. Paul, you got anything?
I mean, it's the glaring thing that's right here in front of all of us, and I'm jealous. The flow. I mean, look at this thing over here. I mean, is it when you go down the hallways at schools, everybody's like, man, that's the flow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Student section calls him the mullet man.
The
mullet man?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's got to stick out of the back of the helmet too, right? Oh yeah.
I went to this wedding. I got maybe 20 compliments on it.
How many phone numbers?
Phone numbers, yeah.
Oh, they're all old, so.
What inspired it? What did you say? You know what? I'm going with this hairstyle, and I'm going to do it this year. I'm committed.
There's pride in that hair.
I actually started it last year. I really don't know. I don't know.
How does something like that start? Obviously, I don't know. So how does it start? And where's the end game for this? Does it start in the top or does it start in the back?
It just starts in the back.
Just let it flow.
Yeah, just let it flow.
So knowing how parents are, how are your parents with this haircut? Are they okay with it? Or is your mom sitting there going, please cut your hair soon?
My mom's saying no. My dad loves it.
Did you cut it for senior pictures? Have you had senior pictures yet?
I haven't cut it once since last year.
And senior pictures have taken?
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Even better. Now, were you wearing a light blue tuxedo with ruffles for your senior pictures?
No, it was not.
Are you doing this for prom?
I mean, I could.
Am I giving you the idea?
Yeah, you were.
All right.
It is.
Perfect.
I mean, in the yearbook, it's just that's the hair. And you're going to sit there and that's forever. 20 years from now, you're like, I rocked the shit out of that right there.
In all seriousness, guys, I mean, you guys being the boys up front, when you're moving mountains for these backs, these great backs that you have, and listen, you guys are known for running the ball. That's a sense of pride in this school, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
Definitely.
What does it mean to you to be one of the guys that's leading one of the best teams at running the football in the area?
I'm extremely proud, especially of having 3 running backs that average so many yards per game. And
not even 3.
Oh yeah, more. Yeah, my bad. Just the 3 that are over there, actually. But it's amazing. I feel like their accomplishments are partially mine, and it feels great to be part of this team.
Yeah. I feel the same exact way.
I was gonna say, so I was an O lineman back in the day, not that big. It wasn't hard to move around, not as much as you guys, but I mean, every O lineman has that favorite. I'd rather run block or pass block. How you feel? Like if it's a play that the coach says, hey, you're picking this out, are you run blocking or are you pass blocking?
Run. I'd rather
run all day. Run all day.
Favorite play in the playbook?
I like the pool.
He likes the pool.
Yeah.
I just like down blocking all the time.
Love it.
Yeah.
Offense or defense?
Offense.
Really?
All day.
Really?
Yeah.
Incredible. Donnie, how do you like that?
When you have
I guess I would
sitting
like that
behind
too.
you. I mean, I guess I'd like the block for them too, but yeah, I mean, like he said, the pool block. I mean, I was a running back in high school, and nothing was better than blocking on like a 28 crossfire, where that strong side backer had no idea you were coming, and you just lit them up for days. So, yeah, I agree. I would love to throw a nice little pool block on somebody.
Yeah. Even that, like, just when my backs are running the ball, and they even got their hand on my back, it just makes me feel like they're safe and I'm protecting them.
That's
And I
amazing.
just go my hardest.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You're the bulldozer, dude.
Yeah.
Going downfield. All right. We talked about it with the other guys and with Coach. What's the best part of playing football here at this high school for you?
Tough physical football, the way I like it. Was all nitty gritty, low physical. I don't know. It's kind of perfect. It's great. Little town. Everyone knows the football team and all that. It's great.
What does it mean to be a G-man?
Tough physical football, yeah.
Hard-nosed football.
Copy paste.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like it. I like. All right, if we got to go to one place in this town, we're gonna go to dinner after this. Where are we going? Trying to get you a free meal here.
Slim's Travelers.
Probably Taco Bell. I love
Taco Bell. Garrett, so they don't mean that.
Taco Bell.
I've never been there before. What do you get there?
I mean, we've heard the Brick. We've
The
heard the
Brick,
Brick's got good burgers.
Yeah,
so.
the Brick's pretty good. If you
Slim's.
Slim's burgers are pretty good. I would say the Mill has really good barbecue Gouda mac.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, barbecue chicken Gouda mac. It's pretty good.
Very cool. Talk to me about your coach. What's it like to play for Coach Moser?
I'm going to answer all the questions, so you go ahead.
He's here for style. You're here for grace.
I love it. He's a good coach. He makes us do everything that we have to do, and just I don't know. Just not much to say about that. I mean,
What is the worst?
He makes us work hard.
What is the worst cardio that you've had to go through?
Snakes.
Dude, snakes.
Yep.
Is that so? We call it the tiger run. Is that every 5 yards you do that?
Yep.
That what you
Yeah.
call
5,
snakes?
yeah.
Okay. The worst. I
It's
still have nightmares
terrible.
about it. I'm 36. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you so much. Good luck tomorrow against Warren JFK. We'll be watching you, obviously, and thanks for being part of the YSN family, man. We're happy to be here, happy to have you guys on, and looking forward to following you throughout the year.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You got it. We're going to be back and talk more about the games you can expect tomorrow, right after this on YSN Primetime Live.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense, to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer goes the extra mile to bring you the largest selection of vehicles at one convenient location. With guaranteed credit approval, I will find you the right vehicle and the right financing options for you. I am ready to go the extra mile to show you why no other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers. And we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, when natural disasters happen, we are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. YSN Primetime Live, presented by the great sponsors that we have here at YSN. Can't say enough about them. Can't say enough about the G-men that we just had on the show, Coach Moser and the boys. Those O-linemen, man, those are our guys.
Man, they're put together. They're put together. Let me tell you, I would not mind running behind two of those big boys. That's for sure.
Except for Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Come on. We're trying to get this kid free food in the Garrettsville community, and they scream Taco Bell, Cane's, and Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Sounds like a teenager to me.
Corporate America.
Corporate America.
That fast food. Get in there, get out. They get what they want. Spend a little bit of money and get a lot of food. So
they mentioned Slims, but obviously they're not slim themselves, so they must bypass Slims.
Listen, I would love to run behind those guys. I mean, you heard them say, hey, when I've got a hand on my back, I take that responsible.
That's incredible.
I'm pushing. So, all right, let's get back to some of these games we have not had the pleasure of getting to yet. We'll get to Garfield versus JFK last. So let's talk about what do we have here? Edgewood and Jefferson. Interesting matchup. Jefferson, obviously, I mean, there's a lot of people in Jefferson that feel like this is going to be the year for them to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Jefferson pulls it off. I mean, Edgewood's going to be one of those teams year in and year out. You're never going to really know what you have with them. But Jefferson, as of late, has been a pretty decent team, so they pull it off.
Paul, that's been a team in the NE8 that you're pretty familiar with.
Yeah, and last year that they were really young. A lot of sophomores on that team and a lot of sophomores and freshmen playing on that team. I was up there for the South Range game to call that for YSN, and they're building. I mean, a lot of those kids got a lot of good experience last year, and this year is going to be another learning experience year for them. But they have last year's in their back pocket, and they're going to build off of that. And give them this year, next year, they're going to be a force in the NE8 to reckon with. So I like Jefferson as well. I mean, I'm not real familiar that much with Edgewood, but I mean, Jefferson's not going to be somebody that's going to get pushed around. They're going to go out there and battle.
Another team we're not real familiar with, Ellett, taking on Girard at Girard. But Girard has been a mixed bag to this point, but in a good way because, again, another young team in this NE8 that keeps on swinging out of the corner.
Yeah, they just come out and, they got a lot of tradition there, and it's a good program, beautiful stadium that they're at. And, yeah, they're just going to come out, and they just got to keep building and getting where they need to be. And little by little, they're getting there. They get these bumps out of the way early and, get into that NE8 schedule, which is not easy by any chance. But they're going to go out there and do some good things. And, yeah, like you said, it's a mixed bag. You don't know what you're getting. But being at home and going out there and fighting, they're going to be good.
Listen, it's not 4th of July, but I'm expecting fireworks from this one. Springfield on the road, heading to Spire Academy to take on Geneva. What are you thinking here, Donnie?
Listen, there's only one reason why they're heading to Spire Academy is because it's a big game for them. Geneva should be a little bit of a bigger school than what they normally face, but something that Springfield should pride themselves on is they still have Pope Rungard at quarterback, which is probably one of the best quarterbacks in this area, if not in the state. So look for them to, I mean, they had some struggle against Brookfield. Maybe they were looking ahead to this week. I don't know, but it should be, if anything, like you said, some fireworks, and interesting matchup and a big time game for them. So
Paul, you like Springfield in this one?
I do. I think, they're learning how to deal without the athletes they had last year. Yes, they still have Bo, and that's a huge bullet to have in your gun, come time to get out there in the field. They're learning. They learned week 1, what they needed to work on. Week 2, they were down. They're down by a couple scores with 4 minutes to go, and they come back and win that game. So they're getting there. Geneva's going to be another one. Listen, it doesn't get any easier next week. They get Louisville next week. Yep. So you're going right into league play against, if not yourself, the second or first best team in 1A, 1B in the MVAC. So there you go. You got 2 back-to-back weeks to tighten things up, get out there and go. And then I think after they get past Louisville, they'll be able to breathe a little bit easier and still get through there. But this is a big week for them. I think they go up there and they show off a little bit.
All right, next game, Keystone at LeBray. LeBray, a team that Garrettsville knows very well. They've got them on their schedule. Is that next week, Mac? LeBray versus Garrettsville Garfield. So LeBray's got their hands full next week. What do they do this week against Keystone?
I think they're going to do what they have been doing all year so far, is just taking care of business. I think they're going to not overlook Keystone. They're going to go out there and grind it out like they've been doing and put some points on the board and be ready to go and just get their tune-up ready before they come here to play Garrettsville.
I feel like LeBray, in talking to Billy, I feel like LeBray is the only team that may be in the way of Garrettsville going 10-0 this year. I think they, like he was saying, I think they go ahead and take care of business without overlooking Keystone. But I think they put it away pretty early.
This is the underrated game, I think, of the night. Liberty at Lakeview. Again, Liberty and Lakeview both trying to find who they are, trying to find their identity. How do you like this game in general? You don't have to pick a winner. Just how do you like this game in general?
I think it's just going to come down to who has more athletes. And I think right now, Liberty probably has more athletes than Lakeview. Lakeview's been a program that's quite frankly been on the decline the last several years, and Liberty with a new coach, they're trying to find some excitement and get things going for them. And, I think athletes prevail in this game. Paul?
Like Donnie said, with Liberty having a new coach, so does Lakeview. They lost Coach Pav. He went to Poland. So, you got 2 brand new coaches there trying to figure out what they can do with these programs and get these kids ready to go. And it is unfortunate right now with Lakeview that they are down a little bit. They're trying to rally those athletes there to come out and get things going. But, yeah, I think Liberty's going to be able to pull this one off too.
A very interesting game for so many reasons. Lisbon at Toronto, and Lisbon, after the tragedy that happened, inside their community, inside their football team, going to have to head on the road to Toronto. And I was reading this morning that Toronto is going to have a moment of silence for Lisbon. How does this game go for them? How do these guys get focused on football?
Well, I think, you talk about teams rallying around something. You asked Coach earlier about, is there somebody in the area that you rally around? Well, if I'm Lisbon, obviously I'm rallying around number 58.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'm basically saying, you know what? I got to give every ounce of what I have on that field on Friday night for 58 and go for it,
Yeah, it's going to be emotional. I mean, these kids are going through this week right now, practicing for the first time without one of their players. And then, they're going to go into a game, it's going to be on the road. So you got that trip down Route 11 to figure out, what you're getting ready to do. This is going to be a testament to the coaching staff, how focused they can get these kids to be, how they get these kids to focus on what they need to do your job, and then come out of this. And yes, we're going to rally around this, but if you get way over emotional about something, it can go south on you pretty bad. Because if something bad goes in the game, now all of a sudden you're dwelling on that. Where if you're focused on this, listen, we're going to have bumps in the road. We're going to get through it. We're going to keep fighting. And, this week on the road is going to be a big one. And their first home game is going to be crazy too. So if that's next week or the week after, I haven't looked at their schedule too good yet, but when that happens as well, that's going to be another big one for them.
And you're talking about, and sometimes in life, football is not important in life, but football also is so important to that community right now. So, I mean, it is, and it isn't in the same respect. So, my heart goes out to the community and hopefully, like Paul said, the kids get focused, the coaches get them ready to go, and they put on a show for them.
thoughts and prayers are and will continue to be with Lisbon during this trying time, not only in their football team, but in their community. So we've got you here at YSN. Louisville, Wellsville, at Wellsville. Wellsville's first game after 2 COVID weeks. And guess what? Hey, guess what you drew? Here's your consolation prize. You get Vinny Ballone and the Louisville Rockets. Thoughts?
Yeah, the crazy thing is, though, is so many weird, strange things happen down at Wellsville. It's almost like when you go down and play at Southern. You don't know what you're going to get as far as Wellsville has this year because you haven't been able to see him play. I think with Louisville, Vinny Ballone, one of the top quarterbacks in the area, having a guy like that should be able to control the game, control the situation. But strange things happen in Wellsville. So, I mean, you just got to hope that kids go down there, they play hard, injury free, come back. But, I'd have to give Louisville the edge in this game.
Oh,
I agree. And those first games of the season are usually those games you're working out the kinks, because you can only practice against yourself and your other team, your, squad team so many times until it's finally just like so repetitive. You're like, you want to get out there and hit somebody else. Wellsville hasn't had that chance. Louisville has. Louisville's now, this is week 3. They've worked out the bugs and stuff. And now you get Vinny Ballone, tuned up, ready to go. And here comes Wellsville week 1. They've got stuff to work out. That first half could be make or break for them. Right. If they keep things close in that first half, we could have a game on our hands. But if things get out of control and Louisville just starts steamrolling pretty quick, it could go south for them in a hurry.
It's going to be tough for the Tigers to claw back in that game, in that beautiful, beautiful facility they have in Wellsville. That's where the game will take place. All right, Matthews at Sebring. Coach Seidel says he's got the troops ready. Do you like them? I mean, coming off a big win in week 2, which is their week 1.
Let's go 2-0 only because I like the coach. I mean,
he's all right.
Honest to goodness, you want to talk about, getting to see the personality of a coach and Coach Seidel. It's been awesome because he's been on the show so many times, and the guy genuinely. I mean, and I'm not saying that all high school coaches don't genuinely care about their athletes or players, but man, you can really see it with him, and for them to really go up on the road and knock them off last week and just put some points on the board. I mean, keep it rolling for week 2.
Paulie?
Hey, listen, and he's talking, I mean, all of us are ready to go. We're ready to put on a helmet and some pads and say, okay, who are we going to go hit and where?
Right.
So if you can't get fired up to go play for coach, then you know what? I don't know what to tell you. So he's going to have these guys ready to go. And I think they're going to, he's going to get a second win. Absolutely. Hey, I'm a believer.
He gave me
fight
a
on Trojans, baby.
He gave me a helmet. I said, I don't have any eligibility left, coach. Like, sorry.
Well, unless we're playing for Bishop Sycamore. Then then we got a shot.
Which I was going to tell you guys. I mean, my contract arrived about 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah.
They listed me as the punter, though.
Punter?
What? I don't punt.
I love it.
Well, I'm the long snapper. They got me for that. So we're teaming up here.
Let's go practice on the field.
That's it. I said I was taking my talents to Bishop Sycamore yesterday.
I guess I'm the quarterback because I'm the tallest guy at the table, right? Newton Falls at Mineral Ridge. This one, very, very intriguing matchup here.
It really is. I mean, Newton Falls has been a down program over the last several years, but they've actually picked it up a little bit this year. They actually have a decent program, and in Mineral Ridge, they're one of those ones. It's a mixed bag. You don't know what you're ever going to get in them because they always teeter around that 500 mark year in and year out. So, but turf at Mineral Ridge. I'm a McDonald guy at heart, but the Rams are probably going to pull this one off.
Bunch throwing for a bunch of yards against East Palestine. Is that a springboard into this game, Paulie?
I think so. Because it's a home game for them on their brand new field. Like, Donnie was talking about, it's going to be a good game for them, coming back home and showing off their new stadium and being ready to go and just off that big win from last week and just keep rolling.
All right. This one is one that can't quite wrap my arms around. It's Poland and Howland. And anytime the lands get together, it can get crazy. A lot of people counting Howland out early on this season. I will never do that. But Poland, again, I know we keep saying this. We keep harping it. Teams trying to find who they are, their identity. You look at one of the best, to me, one of the best area players in Christian Colosimo last year, can throw it, can run it, can do pretty much anything. And offensively, he's been silenced. He hasn't got the ball. But defensively, he's been a standout, unbelievable athlete. Is Coach Pav keeping him kind of tucked away for that secret weapon as they move towards NE8 play?
you got to ask that question. That's a great question, because is he not showing all the cards right now in the non-league games? Not saying these non-league games don't mean anything, because they absolutely do, because you learn a lot about your team. But is he sitting there going, I'm not going to put a lot of stuff on film for teams to watch. Right. They might remember him from last year, but I'm not going to show it off that much, and him coming in this year, it's a big thing for him to be there, because you're playing on your dad's field. You're bringing that name there, bringing all the stuff that he had from, the years of experience from Lakeview. So you've got not something to prove, but in a sense you really do. You got to sit there and say, hey, I'm worthy of this job here. I need to start doing stuff. He had a tough game week 1 with his brother, and then, week 2, they're right there. So this will be a great game, I think, for them.
We can't count Howland out, right?
I mean, you can't really count them out, but in the same sense, you kind of can. I mean, Howland really hasn't done anything offensively. They got to show that they can score. At least Poland, you do have some offensive weapons. You can score the football, and maybe it's just adapting the Coach Pav's new scheme and getting everybody acclimated. I always used to say, the first 3 weeks were always additional scrimmages, because they were non-league games, and then you got into the meat and potatoes of the schedule with your league games, and you always wanted that league championship first. It meant more than anything than making the playoffs even. But maybe they figure it out. I feel like they definitely are far more capable of scoring points than Howland is. So I would have to say Poland, and it's probably going to be a little lopsided.
Okay. I'm just going to say Revere at West Branch. Is there anything West Branch can do that doesn't impress us at this point? I mean, they just continue to high power, high octane offense. Their defense is stellar. What else can they do that we don't go, wow?
Right. I mean,
special teams, return some punts, kickoffs. I mean, they're warriors. I mean, literally they're warriors. No, they've always been just that amazing team, off Route 165. I mean, it's just unbelievable what the product that's out on the field every year for them is solid, and they're always going to be in every game they play. So yeah, I think West Branch is
I'm expecting this game that we're going to talk about to be one of the biggest games of the night, most viewed. Salem at East Liverpool. I mean, you talk about two proud communities.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you talk about offense from Salem, but East Liverpool really proud in their defense. They are stout up front, and it's going to be an interesting night because Blaze X-Line out of the backfield, in the slot, wherever you put him, they're going to have to utilize him, and Jackson Johnson could be running a lot more in this game than he has in past because he's going to be running away from guys like Mason Ludwig.
I just feel like it's going to be all out physical. I mean, you just look at, proud communities. Proud communities are because they play physical. Yep. They're just going to be tough, hard-nosed kids, and they're going to get after it. I mean, it's sad that there has to be a winner in this game because they're going to both bring it on Friday night.
Paulie?
Yeah, this is one of those things is when you love those non-league games, those 3 games where you can get to see matchups that you want to see. Like obviously week 1, there was a handful of just awesome matchups. Week 1, you're like, oh, these are the games we wanted to see last year. Now you get to see them. And it's right before you get ready for league play, and East Liverpool is going to have back-to-back weeks of a great Salem team coming into town, and then next week they get their rival in Beaver Local. So now you've got to get hyped up for 2 weeks in a row, and it's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be closer than a lot of people are going to think it's going to be, with a good offense and a good defense, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Shaw at Hubbard, the TC Caffey farewell tour continues. My guy just continues to churn out yards. Can anybody stop him?
Yeah, I mean, this might be a game where he does go for another 450. I mean, you're talking about a Shaw program that, let's face it, they're just not a good program. In Hubbard, I know it was they were expected to beat Mooney by a lot to a little last week, and they ended up winning 21-19, but they had to get that 0-14 off of them first, and that's what they did. So now they're 1-14 against Mooney over the last 15 tries. So I think Hubbard, with that offensive line and Caffey, I think they do whatever they want against Shaw.
All right, let's go Streetsboro at Struthers. Streetsboro coming off of COVID, I believe, off of their restriction, playing the Wildcats at the Wildcats' house. I mean, Paul, this has been an interesting Struthers team that they've assembled.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get out of them because like all of a sudden they come out and they explode. And then sometimes it's been a little bit more tame. So you're like, well, what are we going to get here? But that stadium, if you've never been there and seen their pregame stuff, some of the pregame production that they have, those kids are unbelievable with what they can do. And if you're not excited and hyped up when you're watching them play there, it's crazy. I think coming off of the COVID issue with Streetsboro is going to play with them a little bit because, again, you can practice with the guys who are cleared, but the guys who aren't, you're missing them. And if they get to come back and start practicing again, now they've been out for a little bit. So I think that could be a little bit, I like Struthers, coming in, having that advantage of playing last week and not having to worry about, health for the time being.
And I think the issue with that is also, I mean, Streetsboro did hang 70 on Girard. So, you go from scoring a gang of points and then you're off. Does that completely deflate you, or are you going to be able to come back and do something special at Struthers? I don't know. I agree a little bit with Paul. I think Struthers can get it done, but Streetsboro, if they can catch fire like they did against Girard, it's going to be a fun night for sure.
Ursuline and Chardon head to head. I got to believe there's going to be a lot of people watching Ian and Trey tomorrow night. And I looking at this, probably going to be on audible call a little bit tomorrow night with all the touchdowns that are probably going to be scored in this game.
Yeah, I mean, unless something crazy happens, I mean, Ursuline's going to score a bunch of points.
Yeah.
And Brady Shannon out there just lighting it up right now. He is the key that turns that engine on that Ursuline Irish team. So, I mean, listen, I'm not going to go against them because until something crazy happens, they're going to be the team to beat right now, and they're showing
There's the U
why.
right there.
Yeah, they, I can't stand when I say I can't stand the U. I'm a Florida State fan, so I can't stand the U, which is where they've stolen it from. It was originally a team down south's first in Florida, but yeah, I listen. Unless something crazy happens, it's them all the way. They're the number one team right now in the area, and they've shown why they are.
And kudos to their AD for scheduling up. I mean, Chardon is going to give them every bit that they can handle. I mean, you want to talk about physical. In Northeast Ohio, there might not be a team that's more physical than the Chardon.
Is this another 62-58 game? Like, could it be?
I think it's going to be high scoring. I mean, I can't imagine 62-58 because Chardon does have a phenomenal defense. I would say more along the lines of the 40s and 30s would be sufficient.
So we're looking 70 points about?
I'd say.
That's pretty good game.
Yeah, I would take the over.
That's still a video game. All right, Wyndham at Jackson Milton. Jackson Milton has been impressive. They came out. They had to travel to Toledo, and then they come back. Wyndham didn't play last week. What are we expecting, Paul? You're close to Wyndham.
Yeah, I mean, and Wyndham's just right next door here to Garrettsville too. This is one of their, rivals. Wyndham, unfortunately, is one of those schools that their numbers are down, and they lose kids a lot. And so for them at points last year, they were playing 8-on-8 football, so that's really tough. And Jackson Milton, listen, hey, they've impressed me. They, go up there to Toledo and beat the Hilltop and come back here and take care of business. So listen, until something happens with them, I mean, Wyndham's not a team I think that's going to give them a lot of pushback tomorrow.
Yeah, and they're one of those cycle programs where like every so many years they'll have a decent squad, decent product, but yeah, not this year.
Worcester at Louisville. We still don't know what to expect from the Leopards. I mean, They were in there with Poland. Turnovers really cost them the game. Otherwise, I think Louisville wins that ball game. They were knocking on the door a couple times and lost the football. I don't know what to expect. I don't know much about Worcester, to be quite honest with you. So this one's a toss-up to me.
I'm just going to take Worcester just because I feel like saying Worcester.
Yeah, I mean, Louisville, like I said, you sit there and you look at it like, oh, that's a big school down there. They have good product. And then they've just kind of like surprised you with not fulfilling their potential. So now you're sitting there going, what are we going to get? So I think this is a bounce back week for them. I do. I like them to come out there. They're at home and take care of business. But I mean, listen, all of a sudden you could see it flipped on its head too. So, I mean, you don't know what to get.
And then we have Garrettsville Garfield at Warren JFK. I think this
Saturday games.
Well, yeah, but we're just previewing tomorrow's games.
I thought we were
Calm
gonna
down.
Save them for the end.
Calm. We could go till 8:00, but I think they'll close the doors on our hamburgers if we do that.
Plus, we got to eat.
Yeah. So, I mean, talk to me about this game. This is a game, obviously, we're excited about. Naturally, there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game. It's being televised, and of course, it's on YSN. But at the same token, this is a game that neither team, in my opinion, the rest of their season depends on the outcome of this game.
Go ahead. I'll let you start.
Thank you. Yes and no. I think the winner of this game has some momentum now that carries them throughout the season. Garrettsville wins this game, then they're going to take this. It's a feather in their cap, and they're going to go, listen, we're going to roll, guys. We've got a tough schedule. We've got a monster playoff teams that are in our division, in our region. This is going to be a great test. I was talking to the coach off air after his interview, and he's like, listen, he goes, this is one of those schools that they can come here. They're close enough. They can come here and try to take some of their kids sometimes. And he goes, don't like that.
Right.
He goes, don't like that. He goes, my kids stay here. He goes, and thankfully they do stay here. He goes, so this is one of those schools. He goes, just because they might be a division or so lower than us, they still get great athletes there. He goes, so they want to win this game. They're not looking at it as like we're the bigger school playing against the little guys. No, they see this as, listen, these guys are just as good as us. They've made playoff runs. They are a team that has a lot of tradition there. We're going to play, and we're going to play hard. They're going to get on the bus here tomorrow afternoon, and they're going to travel up there, and they're going to just play some smash mouth football. And those two big hog mollies that were here a little bit ago are going to be pushing guys around,
right?
And hair flowing out the back of the helmet.
Maybe he'll take the sunglasses off. That might be the
letting.
Intimidating.
I'd be impressed if he didn't. Just have those on there, behind like a visor or something, and he's just sitting there going, "Where are you going? I'm going to push you over there so that this guy behind me goes that way." And those three guys, plus they said there's more. That was only three of, they said, a handful of running backs that they have here ready to go and just pow the ball down the field.
Well, let's not forget, last year, Garrettsville Garfield did beat Warren JFK.
Yep.
And not that you like losing, but that really gave JFK a path of, hey, remember what happened? And they made it to the state championship game. So I don't think that, listen, I think they'd take that again if they were given the opportunity. Do you want to lose against Garrettsville Garfield and go to the state championship game and play for a title, or win and see what you have?
Well, the only problem is Cam Hollabaugh and Jesse Likens are not walking through that door tomorrow night. But it is definitely.
I like Caleb Hadley. I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks around.
Listen,
here.
I'm sure he's fantastic. He's awesome, but he's not Cam Hollabaugh. And honestly, a loss. It is very important for Garrettsville to win this game tomorrow night, specifically because of the seeding in the playoffs. I mean, we talked about the Region 17 being as studded out as it is. I mean, they should split that region off, and I mean, you could get some more people from this area representing. But for Garrettsville, it's everything. For JFK, it's not so much, because they're going to make the playoffs because of their schedule. I mean, they schedule up no matter what. They're already 2-0. They could go 4-6, and they could go 3-7 probably. I don't know if there's a cutoff on wins or losses or not, but computer points is where it's at. Huge. I mean, in Garrettsville, there's just something about the physicality of these guys. Like that's what they talked about. They didn't talk about the finesse. Those running backs, they wanted the block. They wanted to throw a block for Dema. And I mean, we knew Dema was saying, I'm scoring touchdowns. I mean, you could just see on that pretty boy's face, he was ready to go. So, but I think when it comes down to it, it's going to be physical. It's going to be a slugfest. Garfield has enough physicality to bypass them in the fourth quarter.
I'm interested. I'm really interested. This game's going to be good. There's a lot of good games.
Yeah.
And you can watch them all on YSN or catch all the touchdowns on the Audible Call. Everything starts tomorrow at 7:00 right here on the network. We hope you can join us. We thank you for joining us here tonight. YSN Primetime Live for Donnie Riccatelli, Paul Munson, for Quinn Pushkar and Billy Mack. My name is DJ Oakley. We'll see you next week. Next Thursday, TBD. We'll tell you where we are next week. Thanks for joining us on Primetime Live.